So I'm just going to give you a simple walkthrough with some guidance on how to repair the Pico-Fuse issue on the Pioneer DEH-P880PRS. So I've already got the trim ring faceplate removed. This is the top of the deck. You can just pry off this top lid here. Put that to the side. Okay, so you'll have 4 screws. One screw comes out of here, and this is the first step is getting the CD transport out of the way. So one screw is there. One screw is deep inside this channel. It's all the way down. Use a magnetic screwdriver because you don't want to lose that screw in there. It's going to be a real pain. The other screw is here. That makes 3. And the 4th one will come out down there. Shot here. Down there where that screw's already been removed. Okay. All the way in there. That's the 4th screw. Okay. So I've already removed those. And with all 4 of those screws removed, you can gently lift the CD transport straight up. Okay. You're tethered by a ribbon cable and an audio cable. Okay. As long as you're gentle, you can set that right there for now. You can gently grasp this ribbon cable, give it a slight right to left rocking motion, very gently. These can be fragile, especially as old as these decks are. Just ease it out. Take your time. Okay. And then this audio plug here. I'm not even sure it's an audio plug, to be honest, because it looks like it only has 2 conductors. Might not be audio. Unplug that. And now your CD transport is released. So now we're going to get into the even tougher part of trying to actually see where this Pico-Fuse is. I'm doing my best to light a very small area. Now I've already soldered across the Pico-Fuse. I chose to do that because this is an older deck. I've already got a lot of miles on it, so to speak, and I'm not that worried about not having the protection of the Pico-Fuse, so I've already soldered across it. So we're looking at right here. Let's see here, where it says fuse. This is the spot right here, okay? So I soldered across both of those. I desoldered the old fuse, and I was able to solder just a bead of solder across both of those terminals to make that a direct short. This connector we're looking at is the connector that the RCA pigtails plug into, okay, for reference. So then that has now solved my issue of engine noise and by bypassing that Pico-Fuse. And I now know that there is radio chassis ground at the RCA grounds because I've used a multimeter, okay, on the continuity setting. Right now it's set up, you can tell by this indicator here, it's set up to beep when it has continuity. Okay, so I can put this one terminal into the chassis ground of the radio. Make sure it stays tight there. Maybe rest my hand on it even. It's kind of tough to do this with a camera and everything all at once. So you see it is connected to chassis ground. You can hear the beep. Okay, I go in here and I'll carefully touch the fuse terminal. Yep. So that is chassis grounded. And then go to this RCA jack shield, and that is also chassis grounded. Okay, so now I know that the Pico-Fuse is bypassed, and we have the ground that we need to have. When you do try and solder that, you're going to want to use a temperature-controlled soldering station, something like this, or whatever you have access to. Start with the temperature lower rather than higher, because you don't want to melt the board or the pads. If the temp is too high, you're liable to damage those pads, and you won't be able to repair them, and you'll have to figure out a different way to actually ground those RCA grounds. So I also have a different issue to work on today. The ground sleeve actually pulled off one of these RCA female ends, and a couple of them are loose as well. So I got some other female ends here from other decks and some other stuff I had sent around. I have some Y adapters that have the female ends on them. So I'm going to be soldering new ends on these pigtails. And that way, you know, I'm going through all this trouble soldering the Pico-Fuse. I'll also make sure that these have good connection, and that there's no issues there. So hopefully that gives somebody a good idea of what that looks like. And if you're handy with a soldering iron, on this model it is kind of tough to get in there, but I think it's doable. Just have a steady hand and a small soldering tip, and you can make that happen. So hopefully this is helpful to somebody, even to help them understand the whole issue. And thanks for watching.